Well, good afternoon, folks. My name is Justin Crozier. I am the owner and operator of Crozier Law, LLC. We're a law firm and we focus primarily in criminal defense. And today I decided that I was going to introduce you to my little puppy, Alice. She is a Brussels Griffon, recording at home, which is where I usually record because I get better wireless signal here than I do at my office. So this is Alice. She's pretty cute. I'm gonna let her go. She wants to go play with our other dog in the backyard. So there you go. The other dog is a Australian cattle dog named Anka, and she's just a real nightmare. But the thing that I want to talk with you today about is not actually about my puppy, though she is adorable. I wanted to talk with you about the different kinds of charges that you can get in Missouri, and I'm gonna actually pull up. I've got some notes over here because there's actually been some big changes this last year in what these different charges are. So first off, I wanted to cover the basic kinds of charges that are out there. First, you have got well, it goes basically infractions, misdemeanors, and then felonies as far as severity goes. So the first level infraction, that's basically like your speeding tickets, parking tickets. You might get like a public nuisance someplace, disorderly conduct, littering, stuff like that. Those are all infractions. Those don't typically go on your criminal record. They're not going to show up on a background check. Nobody tends to care if you get those or not. The next level are misdemeanors. Misdemeanors are the first place where you're actually committing a crime. And misdemeanors carry with them a jail sentence. So misdemeanor is where, when people say that you have the right to an attorney, a misdemeanor is the first place that you actually have the right, constitutionally, to an attorney. You have the right to have an attorney there because you could go to jail. And that's what the Supreme Court decided it means when you have the right to an attorney. In Missouri, we've got 3 levels of misdemeanors. We have C, B, and A misdemeanors. A Class C misdemeanor is, that's your lowest level. That means that you can go to jail for up to 15 days. You can get that charge for harassment, fake ID, small bad checks, some kinds of property damage. There's a handful of other stuff that you can get it for. Most of the time, they will, if you go to, usually you're going to go to a municipal court for a misdemeanor. And Class C misdemeanors especially. The municipal court is like your Kansas City courthouse. That's the Blue Springs courthouse, Raytown courthouse, Harrisonville, all that stuff. Every town, for the most part, around here at least, every town has a municipal courthouse. They deal with the speeding tickets and minor stuff. That's misdemeanors. If it's more than a misdemeanor, felony, then that goes to the county courthouse. We'll talk about that in a second. So your Class C misdemeanor is almost always going to be handled by a municipal courthouse. The next level is your B-level misdemeanors. For a B-level misdemeanor, you can go to jail for up to 6 months. There's usually, this is where things start to get a little bit more serious. These charges can be a little bit more difficult to deal with, and they can be a little bit more expensive to deal with too. This is if you get a first-time DWI or a first-time DUI, which I'll probably explain the difference some other time between those two things. Then you're going to get a B misdemeanor. Criminal trespass can get you a B misdemeanor. Some kinds of tampering can get you a B-level misdemeanor. And again, that's 6 months in jail, and it also carries with it a fine, potentially. After that is your Class A misdemeanors, and that's as serious as misdemeanors get. And that is, Missouri calls it, there's one kind of assault that is now an A-level misdemeanor. It used to be that you actually could go through quite a few different kinds of assault before you got to your a felony, but now we just have the one. Other jurisdictions, other states call it battery, and what battery is that you're threatening to hit somebody, throw a baseball at somebody's head and you miss it. When you're trying to hit their head, you are threatening to do damage, you are intending to do damage, but you don't. That's your Class A misdemeanor assault. Now, if anyone is hurt at all, that is now moved up to a felony, which is a huge, huge change from what we used to have. This is also where your possession of marijuana is going to be. It's going to be second-time DWIs, and some forms of sexual assault are going to be your Class A misdemeanor. And that carries up to a year in jail. No more than, but up to a year in jail. And even though these charges are a little bit more serious, because it's a misdemeanor, they're still relatively easy to deal with. Usually you can get probation. You can sometimes get those reduced down to an infraction, like, maybe littering if it's possession of marijuana charge, maybe disorderly conduct, something like that. A lot of times you can get those reduced. So those are your misdemeanors. After that, we kind of move up to the big dogs. We move up to the felonies, and these are very serious charges. Felonies are... And a felony technically means anything that puts you in jail for more than a year. So these go, and this just changed for 2017. Just this year, this changed. It used to be that you had D through A felonies. Now we have E through A felonies. And what that ends up doing is it kind of makes a change to the way that the C level and D-level felonies apply. It makes your C-level and D-level felonies a little bit harder hitting than they used to be. So for an E felony, and just so you know, we haven't actually, or I at least have not yet dealt with any E-level felonies. And the reason for that is because they're started in 2017. And that means that most things that have happened in 2017, at least felonies, haven't been charged yet. They have not yet gone to the county courthouse, to the Jackson County Courthouse, Cass County, Clay County, Platte. They haven't gone to any of those places. So we're not yet dealing with Class E felonies. But technically what it means is that you can be put into prison for up to 4 years. This is what a D felony used to be. Now, if you're looking at what this is going to cost you out of pocket, there's fines that go along with it, and the fines can be pretty expensive. You're probably looking to pay an attorney on a Class E felony because they can be fairly serious still. Like I said, all the assault charges are now Class E felonies. You're looking to pay a couple of grand on this, at least, if you're going to get a decent attorney. Now, if you're going to go and, just pick up anybody who may do a job, you can probably get it for a lot less. But then you can also probably expect to do some jail time. Because the people that tend to spend, if you're not spending a lot of time on your cases, you can't afford to spend a lot of time on cases if you charge a small amount of money. If you charge someone $1,000 for a felony, and you're still trying to pay your bills and do everything else, you're going to spend just a couple hours on it because that's all you can afford to do as an attorney. So you do get what you pay for. Anyway, moving on. We've got the Class D felonies. This is where you're going to get your persistent DWIs. So third time, fourth time DWI are going to be hitting here. Fraud charges are going to be hitting here. Other kinds of persistent crimes where you keep, perpetually doing the same thing. And what you're looking at is up to 7 years in jail, or in prison. 1 year in jail, up to 7 years in prison. This, again, is kind of where the C felony used to be. And these can be serious. These can actually be more difficult in some ways to deal with than a C-level felony, which is more challenging. And the reason is because a lot of the cases, at least what I get a lot of times with my C-level felonies, are repeat DWIs. And the prosecutors are not gentle with people on repeat DWIs. They're going to come down, they're going to hit you pretty hard. And the judges are going to be harder on you too. So for persistent offender crimes, a D felony could actually be more serious, believe it or not, than someone else who has a first-time C-level offense. You may actually be looking at more time on a D, practically speaking, than you would on a C. And that's just because of the nature of these things. And again, you're probably looking at a pocket for you to hire an attorney, maybe $3,000, $3,500, something like that. And of course, it goes up from there because there are people that, you're going to get experts potentially. DWIs could be easily twice that much if you're a repeat offender. So C-level felonies, I deal with a lot of C-level felonies. And the reason for that is because that is the majority of your possession cases. So your possession cases, we're talking about anyone who's got more than 35 grams of marijuana or anything else. If you've got, a gram of methamphetamines, or you've got, a gram of cocaine or something like that, C-level felony. C-level felony used to be 1 to 7 years. It is now 3 to 10. 3 to 10. It's pretty serious. That's a lot of time that you're looking at. And these are going to start off around, what you're going to hire somebody for, you're talking probably $4 grand, something like that. These can seriously get expensive. The other thing that I would tell you is that the other thing is that we're looking at potentially getting you probation, which is a nice thing. D-level felonies, a lot of those are actually hard to get probation on. But if you're a first-time offender, having a drug charge, you're going to be in good shape. All right. Next up is a B felony. Now, you're going to be looking to spend $5-6 grand on these just to start off. These are a big deal. These put you in prison for 5 to 15 years. Probation is often not offered on these cases. There's a lot of charges that come with this. Assault with a deadly weapon, manslaughter, first-degree burglary, second-degree robbery. There's a lot of stuff, and these are where we get serious. And you need to make sure that you get a good attorney on these. Like I said, probation is typically not offered. Then we get to the big dog, the main event, Class A felonies. Murder, manufacturing narcotics, first-degree robbery, forcible rape, kidnapping, any of that stuff. These are the very, very serious crimes. We're talking about the big stuff. Most of these are considered dangerous crimes, which means that any time that you get, which, by the way, is from 10 years to life, you have to do 85% of your time before you're eligible for parole. That's not necessarily true for the other stuff. Non-dangerous crimes don't have that same requirement, but here they do. Be prepared. You're gonna have to fork over some cash. If you get hit with a murder, with first-degree robbery, distribution, forcible rape, something like that, you're looking at least $10,000 in attorney's fees. I mean, that's, if someone's taken one of your cases for less than that, unless they're just doing it out of the goodness of their heart, which I've done, and it does happen, but it's the exception, not the rule, then you are looking to pay like 10 grand on one of these cases, easy. Murder, you're talking 20. These are expensive cases. These are challenging cases, and you really have to make sure that you get someone who's good and that you're doing a good job on this, that you have someone who's taking care of you. All right, so I don't really have a whole lot more to talk about in regards to this. Again, I'll be back here on Friday. Maybe I'll bring my dog with me. But, give me a call. Send me a question if you have one. And if there's anything else I can do for you, just let me know. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the information. And, good luck out there.